Good evening. This is the first semi-final of my Nomad only tournament. And here we have Ghetto Liquidator versus Lowerty. Players are pretty similar in rank. We have Lowerty currently at 1486 1v1 rating, and Ghetto Liquidator with 1512 1v1 rating. And as per my rules, there are, let's bring them up actually. I'll even bring up the scoreboard. See, that's the rules. No villager fighting before minute 5, so you can't really obstruct the TC going up or anything. I want the TC to go up for these Nomad games, so we actually have games and not TC wars and full on laming, because that would be just very short games in many cases, although eventful. And the rules say random sib for game number 2 will have the loser's home map, and the sibs will be reversed, so that's unique to this tournament. So it looks like Lowerty had quite a bit of a walk for the villagers to get down here, and also no dock yet for Lowerty here with the Saracens. We'll see how that plays out for them, but as a general rule, you want to dock on Nomad ASAP, because you start with enough wood to place both a dock and a house and a TC, so there's usually not any reason not to. Looks like Lowerty is on the way to dock now though, so maybe the reasoning behind this was to rush up the TC and then go for the dock to not lose too much villager production time. So you get to Liquidator already with the TC up here, and Town Center up is with a 2 villager lead, and is also going to get some fish going soon enough, so will be a pretty decent economical start for Ghetto Liquidator here. But as for the sibs, we have Saracens for Lowerty. They're actually decent on water. You have the faster firing, where is it? Galleys attack 25% faster. So that's something that could come into play at some point if they fight for water. And at least it's a bonus for naval fighting, something that Incas don't really have. I mean, they of course have the dock and they have the opportunity to produce army on water, so there will be some early fighting probably in the feudal age. But Incas rarely seen as a naval civ. Looks like a decent starting spot for Ghetto Liquidator here as well. There's berries next to TC, stone right next to TC as well. He is Incas, so he's certainly with a good setup to go for some kind of towers play in the feudal age here, which would make sense as well, having this 2 villagers lead already. You'd be likely to be able to get up earlier than your opponent, but there's still no dock for Lowerty here, so that villager count is just going to increase for Ghetto Liquidator versus the opponent here. They are situated at opposite sides on the map here, and I think I favor Ghetto Liquidator's position more simply because of easier access to stones and golds to both sides here. Could expand left and right, no problem here. Whereas for Lowerty, the stones are on the hill, so if this gets towered, that's going to be awkward, and then the golds and stones are simply further away, so not an ideal starting spot at all. Here is kind of the dock from Lowerty, so but now already 4 villagers behind. I'm gonna have a little look at the players scouting here as well. We see Lowerty with the villagers walking, starting villagers here. At least Lowerty knows the location of Ghetto Liquidator, because Lowerty's villagers were passing here as the TC went up, so shouldn't be any surprises there. Ghetto Liquidator, on the other hand, does not know the location of Lowerty, hasn't scouted too much, neither on land nor water here. Now, talking about the civilization's strengths here, on let's say on land specifically, Saracens, they are likely in many cases to go for the archers, even though mobility may be more favored on Nomad, could always go into scouts or knights in the castle age for that matter. But quite likely to go into archers. And that's for Incas in Castle Age, or Feudal Age for that matter, but Castle Age onwards, get the Eagle Warrior and Elite Eagle Warrior in the Castle and Imperial Ages that are a quick, direct counter to archers that could have high pierce armor and just run and catch up with the archers and slaughter them easily with melee engagements. Incas more likely to go for towers. They're buildings that cost less stone overall. So you have an easier way to afford towers, and I think it's a way in Get the Liquidator's line of thinking here, considering that the stone is so close to the DC here. Distance is an issue though, because you'll have to walk quite far with your villagers to get there. Then again, Incas villagers, they benefit from blacksmith upgrades, so if you get the blacksmith upgrades, they will tank just so much more melee and ranged attack, and that's why they are usually tower rushing in and using extra villagers as well, as opposed to a normal tower rush, because you have that extra damage output from your villagers. You simply always win the villager on villager engagements versus the opponent. Lordy now scouting the shoreline is going to have a look for what Get the Liquidator is up to here. Still a bit of early scouting on the water here, hasn't even clicked up yet here, Lordy. And again, at the stats here, falling behind in villager numbers and probably fish numbers as well. Fish numbers looks decent. Get already with 2 docks though, so probably wants to contest water here and has more efficient ships overall. But now Lordy has scouted the shoreline, knows that there are in fact 2 docks, and might need to mirror that at home in order to take favorable engagements on water. Can you ping your TC location? No. Let's see for Ghetto's scouting as well. Has a sheep down here, hasn't found Lordy just yet. But with a significant head start to the Feudal Age here for Get the Liquidator, something that should be used to their advantage here. Here comes the barracks for Lordy, suggesting that this is kind of a straight archer's play here, now tasking 3 to gold, which is customary for a 1 range opening. Also with the barracks up, you could go into some infantry line units as well to contest the enemy villagers if they go for the villagers and tower rush. But seeing as Get the Liquidator hasn't gone to stone yet, that isn't the plan here after all. You'd need to know the enemy's location as well to do a successful tower rush, to have some grasp of the actual resources that they are taking. So double army production from the docks here from Get the Liquidator. Did not scout Lordy's location just yet, but it's just a matter of time here before this fishing ship finds the location of the one and only dock of Lordy down here. Lordy still in the Dark Age, but just reached Feudal. I think looking at the fish investment is like 6-7 fish total. Lordy's going to have a hard time contesting water at this point, being that much later up to the next stage. Might opt for some land aggression instead. Here goes the blacksmith and the range, and yeah, we'll be moving forward with the archers. After all, Lordy knows the location of Get the Liquidator's base here. Hey Lordy! Stopping by. Double ranges, in fact. Is there a market though? No Saracen's market just yet, and Ghetto looks to be setting up for a straight fast castle here actually. 5 on gold, no army production buildings. Well, not straight fast castle, will indeed be some engagements on water, but Other than that, seems to be in a decent spot to click the gas stage soon. And Lowry as well, no market or anything, but Blacksmith ranges and is going to reach the gas stage first here, not having invested anything into water other than the fishing ships. So it might prove a good call here to get that serious head start to the gas stage, while Get the Liquidator actually cancelled all but has 3 fire galleys here total, so the food eco Lowry is going to be history soon enough on water, but that's not that huge of a setback for Saracens if they can get the market up and manipulate the prices for production. There's the cast stage in just as Get the Liquidator clicks the cast stage himself. So there's a huge technology lead now for Lowry. Could, in theory, go for some dock upgrades and win back water with a stronger army as well. Almost 10 bills behind, that's rough. Yes. The dock needs to go up earlier on Nomad, man. But your TC was, of course, late as well, since you can't really obstruct get those opening here due to the villager fighting rule. And we're gonna lose more villagers here, as fishing ships count as villagers as well, being chased by Get the Liquidator's fire galleys over here. Botkin on the way, crossbows in production, and now 7 crossbows with fuel age armor, and soon to have Botkin arrow moving forward and to contest Get the Liquidator's position here. Crazy thing about Saracens archers is that they have a bonus against buildings, damage against buildings, so if you have a large enough chunk of crossbows, they can even take out town centers, because the town center has 6 range, crossbow Botkin has 7. So Get the Liquidator tries to get more barracks up here, wants to go into the eagles against the archers maybe. But while Lowry is behind the villagers, he's ahead in military, and with Get the Liquidator reaching Castle Age, we only have a 7 villager difference total. So even after losing the fish, Lowry is in a decent spot here. Finds the gold now, is going to try and contest that. Meanwhile, we have Get the Liquidator going into the eagle switch right away. Defensive tower, not really a hinder for Saracens archers or crossbows, you could just sit under it and take it out due to the bonus damage against buildings. No ballistics in yet though, could tell it from the, the hit rate of the arrows here that are not going too accurate. Looks like the university is going up though, the market is here as well. Should mean that Lowry is able to sell resources to adjust. Just did that, I think, to sold some wood to get some more gold in the bank for consistent double range production here. So while Lowry lost the economy of water, lost the one and only dock, he hasn't been touched on land, and the villager numbers are growing pretty similar here. Ballistics on the way from the university, so that's certainly going to benefit the accuracy of Lowry's archers here. Eagles are coming in at a steady trickle here, but one at a time. That's just not going to do enough here. Yet though thinking about the defensive towers approach here now, fleeing with some builders here and there. Look at all the idols of Get the Liquidator here. It's looks to be in a rough spot now. Maybe over investing or focusing a bit too much on water here. And no GG apparently, hopefully after the actual resign. But it's going to be a 1-0 for Lower T, taking full land control with the Saracens archers here. Saracens played very well right here. So let's have a look at the statistics, and we'll go update the score and go into the next game. 18-9 KD, largest army as well. So Lowry basically playing this Nomad map as a land map, adding some fish, but then just not caring about water, going for the land control seems to work out. Ghetto with stronger eco, more villagers overall, especially the food eco, almost twice as much here with all the fish, but when being taken off gold, as was the case here, there's not much you can do with Incas. Gotta make it Arabia, yes, indeed. Let's see. It's going to be a Lodi's point here, 1-0, and we're going to Ghetto Liquidator's home map. Means that Ghetto Liquidator will be playing Saracens for this one, and Lodi will be playing Incas. And the map is Water Nomad. Alright, full and utter chaos here. Water Nomad, you start with 13 population. So that will be 7 villagers and I believe 6 fishing ships. You want to get you both TC and dock up ASAP here, because you'll need a drop-off point for your fishing ships to gather the fish and drop it off, and of course we need a town center to produce villagers as well. So I've seen different approaches here. I've seen people dropping the dock right away, but then you can only afford one house. And that's not going to be enough to support all of the population here, so you need to think a little bit of how you dispose your resources here. Might actually need to delay the dock a little bit, just to make sure you're not pop capped at the very beginning. So Lord, it settles in the north corner here. Never ideal for Nomad maps or to be settled in a corner like this, because you can't flee to the north, you can only flee left and right, so you're your escape potential is limited. See, the dock going up actually can afford 2 houses, so TC, dock and 2 houses with the starting resources. And of course players get housed here immediately with that whole 13 starting population can be off-putting to say the least. Players closer this time around than the previous one. We have Saracens here for Get Liquidator, and Lodi here with the Incas. So this is actually a perfect setup for Lodi to make use of the Incas towers. This was my first time ever on Water Nomad. Yeah, it's a map not many people play. But it can be very eventful. If you think about using the demolition ships, you could obliterate the whole woodland of the enemy if they're not paying attention. So it's can be a very chaotic map where it's hard to actually keep your resources protected. Villager counts more similar this time than the previous game. We have 15-15 as Ghetto Liquidator get housed, and we'll have a bit of idle time here. Fishing ships are at work though, bringing in food nice and steady here, and with this kind of starting food eco with all the buffaloes and the fishing ships working, you start with 6 fishing ships as well, you could be looking at a very early feud late overall. It is Ghetto Liquidator's home map after all, so he might have something planned for this one. Considering the short distance between the players, if Lowry finds his, he might have seen the buffalo decaying here, might have some idea about the enemy location here. And even if it's Water Nomad, I kind of see towers as a natural player. Look at all these water buffaloes though, won't need to farm for until Imperial Age with this kind of food income. Let's have a look at the scouting here as well. Lodi seems to have decent scouting here, uses fishing ships to get a good grasp of the map here, whereas Get Liquidator has a little bit more limited scouting. That could explain the score difference here as well. Also, noting that Get Liquidator is well on the way to the feudal age here and will be pumping out those galleys, safari galleys, maybe even some demolition ships as the game progresses here. So it's a huge head start for Get a Liquidator, although going up with less population overall here. That could affect the economy long term here, but it's also like maps that involve water. You want to be first to the feudal age to get to the naval army production and start contesting your enemy as early as possible. If you're early enough, you could even stop them from putting up more docks, which is huge in terms of military production on water. Going for the galleys here, Get the Liquidator out of 2 docks here, while Lodi is roughly 80% up, and is with villagers on gold though, so we'll be going straight into the double dock production upon reaching feudal age here as well. There's the feudal age for the Incas player as well, not going to stone just yet, so we're not going to see towers quite yet. Fire galleys and demos. Oh, I love the demolition addition here. Could get a nice hit in over here if he gets lucky, for example, and take out some villagers working on the woodline. Let's have a look at Lodi, Get the Liquidator scouting here. Going in the wrong direction actually, it doesn't know that Lodi is in fact right in the neighborhood over here. It's the buffalo wall over here to keep the stone safe. Incas need their stone. So we have all her gathering guarding the stone income over here. A little bit of idle time here. Did I miss the demo shot of Lowry maybe? Or demolition raft? And also fire galleys chasing regular galleys here. Saracens with the faster firing galleys have an easier time to hit and run and take some decent engagements here, but without fletching though, it's going to take a while still to take out enemy fire galleys here. The damage output is just limited when you don't have fletching with that range and extra attack. Military numbers roughly similar here. We have 5 galleys and now 6 fire galleys over here. Fire galleys won't be able to obstruct the economy here though, so if Lordy adds just a few galleys here, could maybe range some of the villagers on the woodlands and contest them. Good hit and run micro here from Get Liquidator is doesn't have the blacksmith yet, but it's on the way up, and actually doesn't have a market either, so of course you want to preserve most of the wood for actual army production, as Get Liquidator is falling slightly behind in numbers there it seemed, but actually they're still even here. Keeping the army together here, lots of weak galleys here now though, so you have to either consider repairs or just be very careful with which ships are in front, so that you don't give Lordy any easy kills here with the fire galleys. This is going to be an extended feudal age for sure, because both players investing a lot into naval armies here. We have blacksmith going up for Lodi now, as Get the Liquidator cleans up the fire galleys forward. Lodi now going to stone here, 5 on stone, so we should be seeing some towers follow up here. Remains to be seen if it's for offensive or defensive purposes, because right now Lodi is kind of on the back foot here with losing the water naval battles here with less military overall, but also buying himself time to go into the transition into a towers push here. There's the first one. Do we have any blacksmith upgrades on the villagers? Not yet. They're doing a great job here at keeping the enemy numbers down. Now we'll also find the fish and shooting that poor buffalo. What did that buffalo ever do to Ghetto? But yeah, taking out 3 fishing ships here, that evens out the villagers' situation a little bit here, but still being housed and with lots of micro going on water, Get Liquidator is down 4 villagers total. Another tower here, but now the galleys are making it a lot more difficult for the Incas player to get the towers finished here. That's actually 3 villager kills there for Get the Liquidator, and suddenly we're at 29 to 30 villagers here. Hey, Zabias stopping by, nice to see you. Good day, indeed. So it's like early in the day for you over there yet. Yes. Who is the favorite to win here? It's we're at 1-0 for Lodi here now, but right now it looks like this game could go either way. And Get the Liquidator is certainly doing some great work on water here, keeping the enemy army numbers on water consistently low. But once the towers go up here for Lodi, it's going to be a pickle, because they will start firing at the galleys. You'll be in more trouble reaching the core economy of the enemy, who admittedly is cramped up in the corner here, which is never ideal. But once this game goes to the castle age, Lodi could go into guard towers as well for extra damage output against whatever units come their way, and then Get the Liquidator will need an answer to that. But it's a best of 3, so if Lodi takes this one, it's going to be Lodi advancing to the final. We don't know yet though. We'll count 4 to 3 now. Lodi with a total of 3 towers here, to 4 now, to fall back to when engaging with the fire galleys here to try and take out units. I hope to see some demo ships blow up groups of villagers. Yes, indeed. Even with Water Nomad in the pool, there have been surprisingly few demolition ship hits. It's a bit of a disappointment. Wow, that's risky. Imagine using fire galleys as a distraction now and then come around with the demolition raft on the other side. It could be epic. We have Castle Age on the way for Get the Liquidator though. May have used the market here to adjust. I'm not sure, look, prices look pretty untouched, but yeah, going to have a head start to the Castle Age. That could be huge in terms of army strength here. Still 4 military on the field and get a liquidator exclusively going for the galleys. Now finding another quite exposed woodline over here, so if this one gets discovered by Lordy, we could be looking at some towers or some nice demo hits over on this side. Get the liquidator being Saracens though, with the market bonus, it's cheaper to trade with the Saracen market. And going very heavily onto gold here to try and keep production sustained and hold off the tower's pressure here. Once Castle Age kicks in and get the liquidator could start producing some kind of siege to deal with the towers though, so it's not necessarily too much of a deal, these towers yet. Get the liquidator also keeps the villager lead over Lordy here, and Lordy is committed to the feudal age, still not looking to click up anytime soon from the looks of the food economy here, or from food situation. Nice villager pick off there in the middle of everything. I think that may have been the last forward villager, because I don't see any flags or anything here, so it's going to put a limited stopper to lower these tower offenses here. Now lower these with the galleys here though, and slaughtering some water buffaloes along the way, going to harass these golds and woodlands and just a little bit here, focusing on the weak villager. Gets a sneaky pick off right there. Get the liquidator, you need to react here. What's going on? This galley is the true MVP of this game, just harassing these villagers, and the economy is so much. But now there's gonna be an end to that. The war galley is on the way, and Lordy needs to back off here. Quite a bit of idles here for Ghetto Liquidator now though. It's fishing ships not really doing their thing. 6 idles, that should be mainly fishing ships. The economy looks nicely set up for what could be would mainly be units on water, but it would also allow for some siege to be added from Ghetto Liquidator, having consistent wood and gold income here. Food situation is less than stellar though, 80 food, 0 on food total. But then again, we have the Saracens market, could adjust prices, could sell stone for gold if needed, could drop a castle now to fend off the towers somehow, and then try to get back into it. But it seems to be Lordy in the leading position now, even though Lordy still isn't in the castle age. Taking some good map control with the towers mainly, and then just a slight little harassment with the minimal military that Lordy actually has on water. University on the way for Lordy wants to stress that ballistics for the votes, it seems. For now though, Ghetto Liquidator with 9 to 4 military has a convincing lead on water in terms of military still. But still, imagine an overchop on this woodland or something. If you have only just 1 or 2 demolition ships here, you slaughter a lot of these villagers and completely disrupt the enemy wood economy here. Looks like Lordy is going to have to say goodbye to his gold over here. He still has some gold right next to TC in the back here though, but will now be losing some villagers in the process. And look at the forward castle! That's a ballsy castle if I've ever seen one. It's literally right next to Lordy's TC, and how's this gonna work? The towers have Balkan arrow, means that they can range range some of the builders over here. We have fire ships for Lodi here to run in and get close enough to the war galleys to deal damage. But what Get Liquidator is trying to do here is to buy time to get this castle up. But Lodi's reaction to this is going into guard tower from the university. So it wasn't ballistics after all, it was guard tower for extra defense and extra damage output. Get the Liquidator needs to delete the castle and will be losing roughly 200 stone because of that. No production whatsoever for Lordy for the moment. Is he going Lordy on resources here? 2 TCs up, which is going to extend that villagers numbers for sure. A little bit of farming here as well. Rice farms as they become on this hybrid terrain. I like the details there, and a gold mine over here to be taken. Get found a new spot for a castle. Is going to take control over 2 golds here, and also I think reach this dock of Lodi over here. So that's going to cripple Lodi's production capabilities quite a bit, reaching both these docks with this castle, and leaving Lodi with actually with only 1 dock, and that is safe in terms of production here. I like how Get Liquidator is spreading out the armies a little bit as well, using 1 galley over here to raid a little bit, maybe to chase these stray villagers over here now, and then we have the castle here to deny resources and docks production. This eco situation looking less than optimal for Get Liquidator, though very low on food eco. We'll probably never be seeing in Imperial Age in this game. And very gold focused eco, and at some point you can't really rely on the market anymore. It's fine for now, but the more you use the market, even if it's with the Saracens bonus giving you more resources when you sell, it's the prices become worse and worse the more you use the market. Not very accurate, these war galleys. Either that or this villager over here is just impervious to missile fire from boats. See, the defense upgrade is in from the blacksmith as well. Blacksmith upgrades affect the Incas villagers, so they can of course handle a little bit more shots than your regular generic villager. It's not every day you see villagers taking out galleys like this. Hey, thanks for the follow, Francesco Solidora. I appreciate it. I'm casting my Nomad only tournament here. What's going on over here? We have a nice little stone pen for Lodi in here. Absolutely rangeable by Ghetto Liquidator's galleys, but of course Ghetto needs to scout this. But walls aren't really, well, there's a guard tower, okay, so maybe he's fine here actually. But I love the attention with these small economic walls here and tower to protect this neutral zone over here. Ghetto Liquidator has added siege. Your favorite map, really? Water Nomad. You know, I've been playing with no bans whatsoever in 1v1 since Water Nomad, or for months now really, and I haven't got a single match on Water Nomad. It's the great migration over here. Where are you going, Ghetto Liquidator? You're going for some more gold after this mine got depleted. Doesn't look too beautiful here in terms of economy for Ghetto Liquidator, losing the starting base here. 9 on wood, 6 on food, 2 on gold now, much more on gold after relocating obviously. But all in all, is down in villager is with a serious military lead though. As the stone is depleted over here and Ghetto will be losing the war galley over. Yeah, Water Nomad, super dynamic. It's the fact that you can literally sail over the map. It allows for some great mobility and usage in the galleys and fire galleys. Demolition ships that we have barely even seen. And get on now with the mangonels to try and contest the towers here. The problem being that guard tower outranges the mangonels, so you can't really contest towers with mangonels. So you'd want to go into some rams that have higher pierce armor, much higher pierce armor, so they won't be as much of a subject to tower fire. So again, Lowerdy is playing this more like the previous matchup on Nomad. Lowerdy is playing water, but more like a land map here, but with towers to take water control, more TCs as well, and no naval presence right now, which is not really a wonder though, because Ghetto built a castle here in between two of Lowerdy's docks, leaving Lowerdy with only one dock to produce from. Incas even have heated shot. So we could have more damage output from Inca's towers against naval units. Oh, look at this! Inca's villagers, they're so ridiculously tanky. I especially like taking a single ship to harass woodlines. The speed allows to save it if it's caught out. Yes, absolutely. This map it's in the ranked map 1v1 pool for the first time, so I don't think there's really an established meta for it. But cramped up villagers like this really begging for some demolition ships shots to kick in. Of course, not a possibility here against Lowerdy with all these guard towers around, so that's actually a great addition. Come to think of it, that these really, if the towers have ballistics as well, they really just eliminate any enemy demolition ships from running into the eco here. But from Lowerdy's side, could maybe make use of some, like get a dock up here on this side and try and contest the very exposed economy of get the liquidator with some effective demo ships or whatnot. +4 defense villagers against generic villagers here, that's never gonna end well for Get the Liquidator. Thing is, towers kind of die to mass fires if naval control is completely lost. I see. But you could wall in the towers though with some stone walls and make it tougher for the fire ships to reach them. And finally, that's where the game ends. I don't know what was the deciding factor here. It could be the forward siege going up near the starting TC, but it is going to be a 2-0 for Lowerdy here. Lowerdy's first game ever on Water Nomad, so congratulations on your Water Nomad debut, Lowerdy. Let's have a look at the stats here. For 2 KD, so that says something about Get the Liquidator's naval control here. And Lowerdy, however, with much more consistent income overall, yet relying a lot on the Saracens market. But did take great control of water, making use of the faster firing Saracens galleys. Faster uptimes overall as well for the Saracens player. And Lowerdy in exchange ending with the villager hive with multiple TCs and a more conventional eco approach.